we even may imagine. 9 o'clock, we have finance.
Good
The
morning.
good doctor.
Mine's going to be very quick unless you all have questions. I kind of put the items in two things on this summary sheet, but the first one being overall, in terms of our operating budget, it's reduced by $62,100. And that is including making sure, one of the things that I have found since we've been here is, I think that's very important, is that, first of all, we have a great staff, but making sure as things in finance are constantly changing with new standards and so forth, making sure that everybody's adequately trained. And so I have reallocated some funds to make sure that every position does have some training dollars available to do that. But in addition to that, we've still reduced it by $62,100. The other item that I think is important to note is we have a space issue in finance, and right now, even if I hired everybody for every vacant position, we do not have space for them. And in addition to and I think as some of you all may know, we had a training room, and that was converted into cubicles for payroll. And so now we do not have a training room, which I think personally, I mean, when I actually designed that training room, and it was designed so that as we approached a new software implementation, as we have new things that maybe we have to communicate to departments, we had a room that was really facilitated for that. So now we do not have that room. Another one of the issues I think are critical for not only finance, but for the city as a whole is the position we're in with our software. We were in a better position with our software 6 years ago. And that's because we've had a software implementation that didn't get implemented like it should have, and then also it's never been fully implemented. And so I think as we try to tackle that in the next couple of years, deciding how we're going to approach that, I think that training room is key to being able to kind of facilitate that effort. So in addition to, so right now we have 5 vacant positions in finance. We have 3 vacant offices, but then we have these 2 cubicles also in the training room. And so I have no idea to solve the space issue, really what that would be. I just put an amount on here. I will say that we do have special revenue funds that could cover trying to create extra space. So with that, that's really our main request for this year.
Are there training room opportunities to where multiple departments could work out of the same training area?
Well, anybody was welcome to use the training room that we had. I can't speak to whether they were using it. I don't know that, but we certainly didn't limit it to only finance being able to use it.
Can 911, would they be able to work out of a similar environment as long as your computers worked?
Oh, we would need a lot more specialized equipment to be able to
Oh, yeah.
really train out there because we have phones, CAD, as well as equipment to train on.
Yeah, this is more kind of basically you can have your computers, you got the 3 screens around you, where it's kind of in a U shape where you can talk to each other. It just facilitates being able to train somebody and so forth. And that's what we had. It's just right now we have 2 cubicles in there with people. So
Do you have anywhere picked out that you
I would
might-
prefer to, oh, you mean, okay, so for the space, well, your options really are, I don't know if it's possible to build out on the 2nd floor. I don't know, I haven't talked with anybody, or your other option is, we would have to consider either we had to move somewhere or HR would have to move, because they're the other ones. The other thing I will say about the space, I think it would also, if we were to build out, it would help them possibly some as well. So.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know this is necessarily a question for Dr. Lopez, as it maybe is more of an action item potentially for Mr. Munger, but I'd really like to see us take a comprehensive look at our space across all of our locations and think about a restack of where departments should be sitting for greatest efficiency and utilization of commonly needed rooms like training rooms and conference areas and and things of that nature. I think that would be worthwhile endeavor to take a strategic look.
I agree.
Perhaps using a
we-
3 and 5 year plan for capital and including space. Because space around here can be a capital,
Yes.
so.
I do agree that a strategic look at everything is important, because where we used to have certain departments working together, like I have an employee, and I didn't realize it till I was here for about 4 months, that actually works at the Public Safety Center. Because she showed up at a staff meeting, and I was like, who are you? That's because revenue used to be by inspection, so businesses had one place to go. Well, now, when we move revenue up here, we don't have that convenience anymore.
Mr. Smith,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Lopez, on the sheet here you have, we could use special revenue funds. Can you address that for the space?
Well, there are some funds, it's called the Alabama Municipal Trust Fund, and there are funds in there, and it can only be used on municipal capital improvements.
Brian, did you have something you'd like to throw out?
No, I was just going to mention, I do agree. That's part of the discussion we've been having around the Police Operations Center. Again, we, continue to try to get more out of the space we have, but with things like NCFI at Public Safety Center, with additional staffing over time here, we don't really have scalability within our existing spaces. So our departments are rather fragmented. So many times we have employees that, for example, when we're having planning meetings in advance of Planning Commission, usually I'm on Teams to do that, because that staff's at the Public Safety Center, we're here, and time between those locations is just difficult to make work. So consolidated operations are certainly desirable in a number of departments. Finding areas that are facilities that can be repurposed or that have secondary uses is going to be probably the most challenging part of that, just because so many of the facilities are purpose-built, similar to the conversation about Fire Station 1 and the original Fire Station 1. What is the secondary use for that? And, it's obviously a very unique building and doesn't always have a great obvious secondary use. But my ideal situation would be that we have operational departments consolidated at one location, and I'm not sure that's possible on our current footprint here without some major new construction or reallocation of spaces and departments. So I do have some space tallies that we've put together that I can organize and share, just to give you an idea of kind of where everyone is, so that people can visualize it a little bit better.
Mr. Smith,
Yes, sir.
Dr. Lopez, is the $2,500,000 going to be included on the budget? Or is this just an idea?
This is my request. We haven't made decisions yet on the budget, so.
Now, just to throw this out there, there's mud on the wall, not necessarily a concrete plan in any way, shape, or form. But I'll say this, look, the Galleria office tower has been for sale. Before we throw money on expanding this footprint, maybe there's an opportunity there for us to have a real presence at the Galleria campus. And it would certainly hold all city offices in one location. Move City Hall there, put this place up for sale. Just an idea, but you got to think about leases currently at the Galleria office towers as well. Like I said, that's a pie in the sky, but I want us to consider all options. Thank you.
All right, any other thoughts? Dr. Lopez, I did notice that you have lost the term interim in your title, which I hope means something good. I know it does for the city. I hope it does for yourself as well.
Well, it's definitely less letters to type.
That's true. Thank you for everything you do. Let's see, next we have court. We have my co-defendant.
They're off. They're off.
Yeah.
Good morning, council. Thank you. I appreciate the attention on this. You've got my packet. You know, I'm compelled always to bring you everything. So, but if you'll just flip over that first page, I have got basically the council summary. That basically tells you everything that's in that packet on the summary of my court budget. And as far as the capital request, there is no major capital request for 2027. We are, as far as the carryovers for the court referral renovation, talked to Dr. Lopez, and we are working with Turner Baxton on that, looking at the numbers and everything. So we're working with them. It's looking very good. And so I'm working with them and Melinda on that and trying to come back with the numbers. So hopefully I can come back on the council on that and grovel next year, trying to get the numbers straight, and it's looking really good so far on that. I will be carrying over the carpet replacement funds because we're looking at, as far as doing that, on replacing the carpet in the courtroom and over that for next year anyway. So that is going to be carrying over, so we won't have anything major. Our operating is going to be the same, so there's no increase as far as on our operating budget is going to be the same as this year, as next year. The only thing that really we're trying to do is get a court referral officer, and we are so short-staffed over that. And Jason is going to speak on that. I was asking for basically a monitoring specialist, but I have withdrawn that. And he's going to talk a little bit about that. But the reason why I did that, and I talked to Jason over it, is because we know, trying to keep the budget down, but there is a certain limitations to that monitoring specialist can do. And so we felt that right now, the administrative assistant that she is in right now, she needs a few more years on her, and I think to gain those experience and all that, to get a court referral officer that can do everything that a court referral officer can do, can benefit the unit far better. And so Jason and I came to this conclusion that we would wait and try to get that court referral officer to do that. And he can explain a lot further on that, basically on the court referral officer. Basically, our budget, everything as far on the security cameras, I talked to Jason Cope on that, is coming out of the police budget on that. The cameras, for security cameras, we're asking for 4 of them. We have many of them out, which is, we really need those cameras because we've had some incidents in court. Coming to the judge, we've got wonderful police officers for security, but we definitely need to have those cameras. Most of our, Cope has been very good to be able to get some of our printers, laptops, things like that in-house. All we would need, if we were able to get this court referral officer, all we would need is just the basic computers, phone, things like that. So with all that being said and done, that's what we're looking at as far as our budget. In that packet, it has everything broken down by line item. I've also, in addition, put in there everything that this court basically sends out to all the state entities. We're basically the cash cow for all the basically state funds, everything. So I'm trying to give you all the information that this court basically sends out. And I put it in this packet just to give you a little bit of information of what this court does. So, you know, municipal courts, to me, basically, and I'm going to just brag on us, is that we're basically the introduction to the judicial system. Either we put a good taste or a bad taste in the people's, you know, mouth is when they come into court. And we want to make sure they do have their day in court. And so basically, I believe that we definitely do our part as far as giving a justice out. So I was trying to give you all the information in this packet, more than just giving you a summary. But this summary basically explains everything what this packet has, but the packet gives you a lot more. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to call me or let me know on this. But otherwise, that's basically it, and I'm going to turn it over to Jason in just a minute to let him talk to you about court referral and the court referral officer. Do y'all have any questions or anything?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
as liaison for the court, I wanted to give a little update. Ms. Fuqua, you left out one thing. Y'all had an audit, did you not?
Yes. In this packet, there isn't an audit, and I was going to let Jason, but there is an audit for the court referral, and it's on the very back of this packet. The court referral, they have a state audit from the Administrative Office of Courts in Montgomery. We have 275 courts in the state of Alabama, and they come and they audit basically all the court referral offices. And basically, they came and got to remember, we are understaffed. And Jason will explain how many we do, how many clients that we call, they handle on a day-to-day basis. We got 100% on all our case management, how we treat people, how we drug test, how we handle them, how we send them to all these different programs and everything. So we basically got 100% audit on here. And I provided in this packet the audit, which we are the only ones that received that in the whole state of Alabama, being understaffed. So I commend Jason and the court referral officer being able to handle that many clients that we go through being understaffed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I do have a brief question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's probably for Dr. Lopez and/or Mr. Munger. I noticed that there's a director upgrade position listed on here, which I understand why Ms. Fuqua isn't the one presenting that. Are we going to get all of the personnel upgrade requests in one lump in a different portion of this?
Yes, you guys will have every request from departments when the budget is submitted to you. That will show one page for all upgrades, all new position requests.
Thank you.
And on the upgrade, you should know both Derrick and I are liaisons to the court. So and I'll give you all the history of the upgrade request. There's a history that Hoover has with women directors versus men directors that got taken care of about probably 15 years ago. They upgraded their pay, but not their positions. And this request for director upgrade doesn't come from Ms. Fuqua, but comes from me and Derrick.
Do y'all have any further questions? I'll be more than happy to answer any of them.
Yes, ma'am. Real quick, were you allowed from the last administration to now to be able to bring funds over for your drug court? Your officers that you were using for that, for testing and everything else? I know you have a room that you've been wanting to build out for quite a number of years. And have those monies been spent on other projects, or have you been able to roll those forward?
Mr. Smith, that's a very good question. And in fact, it's been 8 years, 9 years. So those are funds that I have on that, and that's what Dr. Lopez, we have got, and also I've been working with her. We have funds that we're looking at that are there. And so, to my knowledge, I have never had the privilege of being able to absolutely see those funds. So I've been working with Dr. Lopez on those, and I think what she was saying, and she might have more of an answer on that than myself.
We're talking about the CRO renovation? Yes, so those funds will automatically carry over as a.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do we know how much those funds are at this time, or those will come up in another part of the day?
Well, I had sent that all to Ms. Fuqua several months ago. Forgive me if I forgot, but we think it's plenty. She checked the article. We think that it will definitely cover when a bid comes.
Okay.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah.
I thought I had something else, but if not, then I will contact you myself.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you for the time. Jason?
All right, so just kind of a quick refresher on court referral and what we do. So the city has a contract with the state of Alabama's Administrative Office of Courts to provide court referral officer services in this jurisdiction. And court referral is the state's education, counseling, and treatment program in the court system. You have a 2-page sheet there that I was asked to provide like a bullet point and some additional information, so that's kind of your go-to for what we do. The backside is just bullet points that I'm not going to cover. It's kind of an oversimplification of what we do. The front side, on the side that says overview of duties, kind of goes in depth. But at this point, we have 3 CROs that are working an active caseload of over 400 clients. And that includes evaluation appointments where we have to sit there and go in-depth conversations with them to identify substance use needs, mental health needs, family life well-being needs, connect them with services that are detoxification, inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment, food banks, interview resources, resume writing resources, work with them on all those things in the office to get the needs identified and get them resources to get them out of the situation that they're in and into a better footing. So that, like I said, that's 3 CROs actively working a 400-person caseload. On top of that, we have to do at least monthly monitoring sessions with each client. That's where we check in with them, evaluate the progress thus far, adjust, spend more time with them to make sure we're progressing like we should. The 3 CROs also perform all the alcohol and drug screenings that we do. Today's list for alcohol and drug screenings are 53 people. On top of that drug testing list, I personally have appointments that I'm supposed to see today because I'm working 2 caseloads on top of my director and supervisor duties. I also have to prep for court this afternoon because we have a compliance docket where each of our clients set for today have to meet with myself and the judge to evaluate their process. The monitoring appointments on a client that is purely 100% compliant with no severe issues going on is at least 15 minutes. That amplifies if there's extra issues going on. If there's felony cases, we have manslaughter cases that we're working because we've transferred in from other jurisdictions. Right now we have a case of someone who converted a handgun into an automatic rifle. That case is now with us. That takes much more time for us to work than a lower-end domestic violence case or something that we're working with from our court. So we run the lab. That includes daily, weekly, and monthly maintenance that must be done to maintain the integrity of the results. That also includes ordering and inventory control. The stuff is not cheap, so you have to make sure you do it well, so you're not spending money that shouldn't be spent. For the past several months, we've had appointments that have been overfilled because of all of that. In March, the court also added an extra docket every Thursday that now the same staff has to split between 2 different offices while performing full operations in the office, but also seeing clients in court and working that court docket on Thursdays. So the front side of that overview of duties page is the in-depth explanation of what all we do, connecting clients with resources and all of that. And then the other side is just the bullet point simplification of all of that. Through all of that, yes, we did get a 100 on the audit, which is not an easy course to get from the Supreme Court.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can the court fees, fines be adjusted to offset the cost of the additional court referral officer?
No, sir.
They cannot?
No, our fees are set by the state Supreme Court, and they cannot be adjusted by any other entity. The court costs and fines are all set by legislative action and things like that, so that money is designated for that as well.
Got it, thanks.
To carry over on that, what Mr. Schultz said, give me an example, a $165 speeding ticket, how much of that does actually Hoover keep and the rest go to the state?
It goes to nothing for court referral. It's about 30 or 40 bucks, I think, maybe for the court itself. The rest goes to county and state entities through different legislative actions that have been sent out.
For a speeding ticket, we get $35 out of that.
Thank you.
Madam Fuqua, you have the, still at the program where somebody can buy back a warrant if it's a first offense?
For warrant recall?
Warrant recall, yes, ma'am.
It's $100.
Okay.
Right. It's
Do you
$100.
feel that since that was first,
I put it in legislation
for the coming year?
oh my gosh, it's probably been, whew. Mr. Smith now, it's probably been about 15 years.
Okay. Does it have a
But that
CPI?
goes- Yeah, but we don't get, that goes into
Yeah.
municipality.
Does it come to have a CPI in it as well?
So,
I'd like to talk to you when we can talk privately to see what I might be able to do to help move that along.
to increase,
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, what,
To help move it along. That was a local bill,
right, that's a
when it
local.
was passed.
That's a local bill, right.
right, and I think we could probably pass it as a local bill again. As long as we had Jefferson and Shelby County legislative bodies in agreement like we were able to the first time. What about the transport fee? Does it rarely get used?
It's used some, not much.
Is it because
Not much at
they're
all.
not aware of it, or is it because,
But, not much. I'll have to check and see, but it's not used much, not at all.
okay,
It's not really, not too much. What we've got, what I can't understand, and if you don't mind, is there a solicitor's fee? And that goes to the district attorneys. That's $16 out of every case that comes through the municipal court. And that's the DAs. They get $16 out of every case that comes through. They do not step foot in my court, or probably out of many, many courts out of the state. But they get $16 out of every case,
it's like a finder's fee, I guess.
however you want to call it.
We found it, they get it.
I get it.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
And there's a list in that packet that shows all the state checks. There are, I believe, 22 checks that I write every month that goes to all the state entities. Some I understand perfectly, but I pay the circuit judges, the circuit clerks, and I've got 3 jurisdictions. So they get their funds out of all our court costs. So, we pay an awful lot. The money that we bring in goes right back out. So, I mean, we get nothing from the state of Alabama, nothing from administrative office of courts whatsoever. And that's why I wanted to provide you all that list of everything that all the court costs, everything that goes out to all these entities.
Okay. Thank you. I'll be in touch. And I'm sure so will your liaisons as well.
I had,
Next is fire.
Mr. Smith, if we could, just one
I'm sorry,
question,
Mr. Munger?
just one quick question, and it may not
Holler
be
a little
answerable.
louder.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt, but one question I had is I know that fines and costs, the amounts that are due and payable to the city, those don't roll off like normal bad debt would. Do we know what our current outstanding balance is for sums due to the court?
Our current balance that
Basically, what are our accounts receivable for all adjudicated fines and costs?
on that, well, right now, what I've got here is what we have paid for, with everything, all the entities, basically. The total since October 1 of 2025 to August 24 of 2026 of all the fees, bail bond, everything, we have paid $3,367,984.51.
Right. And I did see that, and I understand it's important that
That's-
everyone realize how much of that money is flowing out relative to what
Yeah.
the court retains. And I'm talking about more of a multi-year kind of legacy balance of amounts that are due and payable, but that have not been received. Basically, people that have fines that they have not paid. And I don't
Oh,
think
the
that's
fines that they have not paid?
correct.
Yes.
Do we know what that balance is?
No, so I can get that for
Yeah.
you.
I'd love to
Yeah.
see it. I think it's
And
just a point of
What
curiosity.
we do, yes, sir, on a lot of the fines, if they are like over, what my judges do, basically, that fees or fines or anything like that, we have basically an arraignment docket or pre-trial dockets, anything like that, is that if they are, the judges will give them 30 days, 60 days, whatever to pay. A lot of time, because indigency is very high profiled right now, and so we have to be very careful as far as we send them notices to come back in to see if they are classified as indigent, anything like that. So we have to look at it because a lot of time our judges will give them, if it's a ticket or a case or whatever, 30 days suspended, but we can't put them in jail for fines or whatever like that. So we have to give them an attorney, or if they are 2 years old, a lot of times the judges will remit their fine and cost. So, like I said, indigency and all that is very, but I can we pull reports every so often, and the judge will review the case. So I can give you that if you, if you would like one.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
Sure.
And I totally understand that indigency, there are rules.
Yeah,
very
it's a
strict
big-
rules around that.
It's a big factor now.
I'm thinking about people that have the ability to pay that
Mr.
may
Chair.
not be paying.
Yes, sometimes I feel like.
Thank you.
Just, yeah. So I'll be more than happy to pull one for you.
Ms. Fuqua?
Sure.
I appreciate the information. Thank you. It helps us understand moving along with the budget. But right now, I feel like we're getting off in the weeds a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And
Yeah.
we've got
we're
a
getting
lot of
behind.
people to get to.
Yeah,
See if you know our names or not.
looks like he wants to take a test.
Good morning, council. Certainly appreciate this opportunity to present our budget requests. It's always good to be able to kind of articulate our needs. And we understand there's only so much money to go around. And I don't feel like that our department's any more important than any other department. We just present our needs and hopefully we get the things that we need to operate. So, Dr. Lopez, not going against what you told us to do yesterday afternoon, but these books were already bound, and so there. Thank you. There's a couple. There's 3 pages in the front that'll kind of give you the overview of our needs, and then the rest of it is just documentation that supports that. So, we have basically 3 additional operating requests above our operating budget last year. One is station uniforms. When I came to work here in '97, we had $300 for uniform requests. A few years later, it was increased to $500, and that's where we are today. We went to a fire retardant NFPA compliant uniform several years ago. Super expensive, but very durable. They last a long time. And just the pants themselves are around $170. So the $500 doesn't go very far, especially when we're trying to buy Class A uniforms for people who've been here past a year. And so we're asking to increase that $200 per person for a total of $700, which is a total of $37,000. EMS equipment. This is something that we've looked at for several years. Dr. Lopez and Ms. Claire have helped us with this to kind of get our minds around this program. Currently, we operate 24 life packs, 13 Lucas devices, 10 stair chairs, and 11 stretchers and loading systems. All of these systems and monitors have to be calibrated, tested, and worked on annually. And they're in various stages of their life. These life packs have technology that changes. And all of our equipment is the same, but it's kind of like having a Ford pickup and different variations of that truck. And sometimes the technology on these life packs are a little different. If we got on a program to replace this equipment, where we were buying a little bit of equipment each year, we would spend somewhere around $300,000 to do that. And we feel like it's time to do some type of program. The program that we're proposing to you is a program that Stryker is doing. There have been some other cities across the state that have done this. Basically, they take our equipment, give us all new equipment, brand new equipment, everything's new, and we pay this, it's around $500,000 a year. We pay that for 7 years, and then the equipment is ours for a $1 buyout. They handle all of the maintenance, they handle all the service and everything for the 7 years, so we don't have we spend about $60,000, $65,000 a year to maintain this equipment now. And so they handle all of that through that 7-year period. I'm not going to speak for Dr. Lopez, but she seems to think this is a good program that would get this equipment off of the capital request into an operating account where we know what this was going to be every year. We can say whatever we want to say about the fire trucks and fire department. We don't pull hose every day. We don't extricate people from vehicle wrecks every single day. But every single day, every fire truck is going to take a life pack off and take care of a patient. So we think this is something to consider. It is a big ask, but it's not that much more than what we would have to spend if we put ourselves on some type of program to replace the current equipment. You gave us permission this year to write a grant, an AFG grant for our self-contained breathing apparatus, the thing that we wear on our backs for fires. Our current air packs are in their 12th year. Those air packs will go out in a little over 2.5 years. They will be obsolete. And so we have written a grant, an AFG grant for that. I feel confident that that grant was written very well and it shows a need. That is a 10% match. So it's $1 million. The city would owe $100,000. We don't know if we need to put that in the budget. Dr. Lopez said that we could look at that if we're awarded the grant at that time, but we just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that sitting out there. The next item below that, fire department minor capital, deals with the same thing with our air packs. If we're awarded the air packs, we would have to replace all the personal escape ropes and rope bags that are attached to the SCBA, and that would be about $40,000. Colin Connor asked me to mention on building services under minor capital, this is the last topic, or last line on the first page. We're having some severe humidity issues and air conditioning issues at Fire Station 11, and he feels that this $25,000 would remedy that problem, and he'll mention that also in his budget. We're asking for position upgrades at headquarters, and we're asking for a position upgrade for the EMS officer and the training officer from a PS 112 to a PS 113. We're asking for 8 new positions. If you'll look at our new positions, the first bullet point is 7 firefighter paramedics to place a medical transport unit in service at Fire Station 3 in River Chase. That was a request last year, and we kind of got toward the end of the year, and we wanted to kind of push that off a little bit. And so we think this is vitally important. This is number one priority for us, or the personnel for that rescue unit. And I think this is something that you guys have looked over and considered for over a year now as well. Also, a couple years ago, we went through a restructuring process within the fire department. And when we restructured and went back to the battalion chief model, we were required to take 2 positions, 2 chief's levels positions, pay grade 113s, and put them out in a car as Battalion 1 and Battalion 2. We were unable to refill those positions or to backfill those positions, and we're asking for one of those positions to be filled at a 111, which is 2 steps below, as a training assistant and administrative assistant to help our training officer. We also have some 5-year capital requests and plans. We kind of worked through these documents with Dr. Lopez to kind of give you an idea of needs that we would have over the next 5 years. Currently, we're on a 10-year engine apparatus replacement plan that you approved through our accreditation process. Basically, we have 9 engines in service every day. If we purchase an engine every year, those engines will be rotated every 10 years. Those engines are about 1.2 million. That number will not move for several years until we see some significant price increases, so we feel good with that number. The 10-year engine apparatus replacement plan comes from best practices. We have stretched that longer before, but we run into mechanical issues, and we just feel like that 10 years is the best number for us. We also have a 5-year rescue unit replacement plan for rescue units. I don't have the figures in front of me, but Rescue 4 and Rescue 11 are only a year and a half, maybe close to 2 years old, and they're already close to 100,000 miles on those vehicles. So we're looking at 150 to 175,000 miles in replacing those rescue units. As you well know, we skipped last year and did not buy a rescue unit, but we have 3 rescue units that will be here between, really one's about ready now, between now and January. 2 of those rescue units were purchased from Shelby County, by Shelby County for us, and 1 was purchased by the city. So we're grateful for that support. But this year, we need to start back on that and buying a rescue unit each year, which would keep us on a 5-year rotation. Technical Rescue 4, the big rolling toolbox truck that's at Station 4, purchased through FEMA funding back in 2003. We want to keep that truck in order, in proper order. It's kind of aged out. It doesn't have a lot of miles, somewhere around 35,000 miles. We do not want to purchase a new one. A new one's about 1.5 million. What we would like to do, or what we think we need to do to keep that truck operational, is to spend about $250,000 on it to refurb it. It's a pre-emissions vehicle, which means we don't have all the emissions for the engine on it, and we know that that truck is going to hold up. And we think we could get another 10, possibly 15 years out of that truck by spending a little bit of money on it. And that's the 4th bullet point down on the 2nd page. We had a discussion about portable radio replacement, and currently we operate 100 portable radios, and those radios have reached their end of life, and we're having some issues with those. I don't know if we're having as much issue as the police department is, but it's definitely something that we need to visit and look at, and that would cost about $800,000 to replace those radios. I'm not sure if Miss Linda will mention that in her budget or not, but I think she'll probably mention that. Then there's a couple things that are just sitting out there that we just need to float out for you to be thinking about. In the 5-year capital plan, we recommend that Fire Station 3 be rebuilt. Fire Station 3 is currently the oldest fire station in the city. In the River Chase community, it was built on a set of house plans with a big basement. It really doesn't fit our current fire apparatus and the needs. We've had some structural issues with moisture and mold and walls being pushed in by trees and different things like that. It needs to be considered to be replaced. We put $7 million in there that we would like to start maybe setting some money aside next year and the following year. We're thinking about a fire station similar to Station 11, 3 bays, and we would give the homeowners association the opportunity to buy in on that, or what that station would look like in that area. But current Station 3 could be torn down. We could relocate our personnel for a period of time and then build a station back in that location. Also, at the completion of the exit ramp from 459, we need to consider if the Trigger Creek property will develop. I know that's a big if. that we would need to consider relocating Engine 6 further down South Shades Crest. And we also need to consider what we're gonna do with Trigger Creek. If you develop Trigger Creek, more than likely, you're gonna have to build another fire station, which is not what we think is the right thing to do. But moving Engine 6 further down South Shades Crest and keeping the current Fire Station 6 as our drills and training center only would be the option that we would like to take. Similar to that, another 7 million, give or take, but I think that comes well after the exit ramp is completed, and you kind of see how that is gonna work out. And then there are a few capital requests. After that, 3 bullet points. One is concrete repair at Station 7. We did not budget enough money for that. The cost and just the scope of work is kind of way out there, and so we're asking to additional $120,000 to complete that. With the implementation and placing in service the new ladder truck at Station 4, we're kind of out of room, and all the workout and gym equipment is in the bay. That's not the optimum place for it. We'd like to consider to appropriate $150,000 to build a gym on the backside of Fire Station 4 for that. And then the last thing is a small parking lot in front of Fire Station 2. If you've been to Fire Station 2 before, the public does not know where to go. They have nowhere to park. They have to park around back, walk around the fire station until they find the front door. That station was designed years ago, and Mr. Smith may be able to comment on this, but it was designed years ago that when the Patton Chapel Road improvement project was complete, that there would be something a parking lot that would be formed so the public would know where to go. It's a pretty simple fix. I really think it's something that our Public Works Department can do, and I think $75,000 is a high price, but we could put 3 parking places in the grassy area beside the engine pad, and the public would be able to walk straight into the front door in a safe manner. We've looked at it with a couple different contractors in engineering, and we've mentioned the Public Works, and we think this is something that we could probably do in-house, but we would have a cost with the concrete. So that completes our requests, and I would be happy to take any questions.
Mr. Smith, I have a couple of questions. Starting with Technical Rescue 4, is that still being used for technical rescue, or are you using Truck 4 more for technical rescue route? And if you're using Truck 4 more now, why is that?
Okay, so we've always used Truck 4 for technical rescue events as well. The old Truck 4 had rescue equipment on it, airbags, extrication equipment. We're carrying more rescue equipment on the tiller now because we have more room to do that, and the personnel are already riding on that. But yes, we do use the technical rescue on a regular basis. We've always kind of split the duties between the two. But the technical rescue unit is a vital part of our technical rescue program. And to keep that truck without having to spend $1.5 million to buy a new one, we think it's best served to refurbish that truck and get it up to current standards and use it for another 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, next question on the HVAC at Station 11. How old is that system in that station now?
It's about 5 years old.
Is it still under warranty, or is it out of warranty?
It's out of warranty. I wish, Mr. Schultz, that I just wish we had a HVAC person that could really help us with buildings with HVAC work, because we have problems across the city with various buildings with HVAC, specifically fire stations. And when we sit down and talk to the engineers and architects about this, we share those concerns. But it's a difficult thing to work through, and we know that station is fairly new. To be transparent, we were told that when that station was built, that they put a system in that was really not designed for this climate. I don't know how that happens, but we've had issues for a while.
And finally, on Station 3, putting a rescue truck there, can it hold a rescue truck before the rebuild?
It
Would-
can.
Would it can accommodate it?
Yes, sir. So our plan is to move, as you know, we have a tanker, a water tender, 2,500 gallons that's been ordered, and that truck will go to Station 1. So if we're able to put a rescue truck in service, we'll simply move the truck, the tanker truck that's at Station 3 now to Station 1, and we'll be able to put a rescue truck. There'll be some minor renovations in the station for privacy, just to give another, because there's only four beds, but we can accommodate that with minimal work. We'll do that in-house.
Mr.
Thank you.
Chief, on the striker equipment program, it says it costs $500,000 annually, but the department will spend $300,000 annually.
Yeah, I kind of rewrote that a little bit. Dr. Lopez, we talked about it, it's a little confusing. So I apologize about that. But if you said, if I said, hey, we need to buy 2 or 3 life packs a year, and we need to buy a Lucas device a year, we would spend, and to do maintenance on the current equipment that we have, we would spend in the neighborhood of $300,000.
Okay.
If you allowed us to do that, which is, we need to do something, one or the other. This program is really only about $200,000 more, and we get all brand-new equipment up front.
Gotcha, I understand.
Everything's
now.
new.
I was confused there for a minute.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
One other thing, the 5-year capital engine replacement. I've seen recently in the news a national lawsuit on fire engines. Are we involved in that at all? Do we get fire engines from that company, or?
So Mr. Munger can speak to that, but Sutphen, who we buy fire apparatus from, is not in the lawsuit. But we have a host of apparatus that were purchased by, we're KME apparatus that is involved in the lawsuit. So we've had discussions about that, we've met about it, and he's aware of it and paying attention to that, so he may be able to speak to that better.
We can speak on that later. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Couple of follow-ups for me. So I'm still a little confused on the business case on the EMS equipment with the striker.
Okay.
So what is the reason that we would spend the extra $200,000 versus authorizing the $300,000 program?
One thing, it gives us all brand-new equipment up front.
Okay.
And then we don't have to worry about any kind of maintenance, calibration, any warranty issues. All that's taken care of for 7 years. And it would put all of our equipment on the same platform with the same technology and would be more consistent.
And Dr. Lopez, can you help us understand why we'd be happy about moving that from the capital budget to the O&M budget?
Yes, so in actuality, where they're kind of, I'm gonna use this term, piecemeal, like as they need equipment, it's in capital and so forth. This program would allow you to pull that into an operational budget, an amount every year, and then it kind of releases some of these things that, to me, these things are more operational than capital. So it kind of gets it out of that pocket, and it's something that would have to be done. I will say also, we analyzed 4 different ways of looking at this. It started out, they submitted leasing it, and I wasn't for the leasing because many people don't understand that when we lease stuff as a city, we pay tax, but we don't pay tax on purchasing. And so it ended up, we looked at 5-year lease, 7-year lease, 5-year purchase, 7-year purchase. So then it came down to, so it was a cost, $200,000 to $300,000 more if you leased, but it wasn't on the purchase. So then we compared 5-year with 7-year, and between those two, it still ended up better to do the 7-year. And then at the end of the 7 years, we're not, if you leased it, we're not in a position, we have no equipment now, right? So we own it, and then more than likely, they're gonna pay us and buy that back, so we'll actually get some savings in the end. from that. So I think it helps in terms of putting it in the proper category on the budget, which is operational. And then also, I think this is the best approach for it.
Thank you, that's helpful. And then you may know, what was the final cost of Fire Station 1?
A little over 5.2 million,
Okay,
the building costs.
thank you very much.
Mr. Smith, I have a follow-up on
Yes, sir.
Ms. Driver's question. So at the end of the 7 years, we buy it for $1, is I believe what you said. Do we start over again at that point with new equipment?
We could do a couple of different things. To be transparent, that's the thing that concerns me the most. The equipment's ours. And so the technology on this equipment consistently in the past has been 10 to 15 years, and the technology kind of changes. I know technology changes a lot faster today than it has in the past. But the equipment would be ours, and we feel like that we'd be able to use that equipment for another 7, 8 years. But if you chose, if there was something out there that was better or the technology was better and you felt like that you wanted to do something different, like Dr. Lopez said, you would have the option for them to buy that equipment back from you, and then you do the next option. We're not trying to put us in a situation where we don't have somewhere to go at the end of the contract. And I know a couple of departments have done that, and I don't want to do that. I think Dr. Lopez has got the right idea.
Would they not need maintenance after 7 years, though?
After 7
Continuous maintenance?
After 7 years, there would be maintenance on the equipment if you ended up owning it and you kept it. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we typically spend about, as I said before, between $60,000-65,000 a year on that type of maintenance. And I've asked Dr. Lopez if we get this program, could we keep that money for just a little period of time until we get everything situated? And she said yes, but she was not going to forget about that $60,000. She would pull it back. So, yeah.
Any other questions?
Mr. Smith, I have 5 minutes. You don't have any
5
questions?
minutes?
All right.
Well, I think that 911 would appreciate your 5 minutes.
I got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. 911.
Gee, no fire questions?
Huh?
No fire questions?
Man, I'm trying to go easy today.
forgot
We're
that
still
during the
15
court.
minutes behind.
Yeah. Well, she had some stuff that I'd heard that the money had been used and that she'd lost it, and I just wanted to find out whether or not it was still there. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'll go ahead and get started. I know we're under time constraints. It's my privilege to submit the Hoover Emergency Communication Department's fiscal year 2027 budget for your consideration. I wanted to say our budget has been developed with a commitment to responsible stewardship of public funds while ensuring our communication center remains equipped to the highest level of service, to provide the highest level of service to our citizens, visitors, and our responders. We've evaluated every request in the budget, and we feel like it's a good budget that represents a necessary investment in maintaining our operations, support our personnel, and preparing for the growing demands placed on 911 in the future. A little background, in 2021, the Hoover City Council at that time was ahead of the curve in unanimously affirming that the 911 personnel as first responders. And then in 2022, the state of Alabama and Governor Ivey recognized 911 personnel first responders as well. So they are under state mandated training requirements, which we are exceeding those. And by the way, I've got Michael Cornwell and Michael Knight here to speak on these other items. But I wanted to go ahead and make you aware of that. because it's important to remember our department, even though behind the scenes, our personnel are behind the scenes, they're providing support for the police and fire departments. They are the vital link, the first point of contact for the public, and the demands are extreme at times. It ebbs and flows, just like for street and field personnel. But, so the first item, we are resubmitting our proposal for the 911 expansion. As some of you may be aware, in the 2020 budget, we had $320,000 approved, but the project was placed on hold. We went back and obtained an updated quote from Turner Batson, but as you know now, it's 3 times the amount expected back in 2020 due to inflation and so forth. But, you know, through a competitive bid process, I've talked, I think, Tim Aho that did Station 1, and then there's several architects that would be happy to bid on the project. But that would give us sleeping quarters, accommodations, because the employees are there 24/7 during inclement weather, tornadoes, or snow, or any situation. Improved break space, actual kitchen facility. When the center was built in 2007, that was in the original design to have the call center floor, and above we were going to have kitchen, sleeping quarters, administrative offices, but that was removed from the plan, and we just went with the call center. Jefferson County came and toured our center before they built theirs. They have the full build out. They are our peers, Shelby, Jefferson, Birmingham. They have dedicated break kitchen facilities with a stove, you know, because we need comfort for our personnel to keep them running 24/7. It's not a normal clerical environment. So just wanted you to consider that. The next item, and the approximate cost on that expansion is about $1 million, but we bumped that up because the design fees were not included in the updated Turner Batson quote. All right, the next item is 911 console upgrade. That would be for our furniture, our actual cubicles that our equipment is in, approximately $300,000. They're ergonomic dispatch consoles that they raise and lower. You might imagine if you're working long hours, you want to be able to stand or sit. The motors are beginning to fail in our existing units, and replacement parts are increasingly expensive and subject to extended lead times coming out of Canada, isn't it? They're coming out of Canada. All right, item 3, Mike Cornwell.
Good morning. The microwave system upgrade in this case is actually a little bit misleading. It's actually maintenance. The microwave system is what connects 911 to our towers, to our radio systems. It's the link that keeps the radio system working. We were looking to be proactive in replacing some of this, so that's why we use the term upgrade. Unfortunately, recently we have had one fail. Now, we have not lost communications because we did have redundancies in place, but we are looking to maintain that microwave system going forward. Any questions on that?
They may take questions at the end. We'll just go ahead and roll through it. Laptops? Yeah, laptops. Motorola laptops.
Oh, that's mine too.
Yes.
So as you know, we have a backup 911 center downstairs. Those console positions that allow the operators to utilize the radio system in that center are far outdated. Those were our original consoles that we installed at the Public Safety Center when we originally built that 911 center Those are also beginning to fail, and we are looking at needing to replace those. Rather than to replace those fixed positions, what we're doing in this case is looking to add transportable consoles, which could be used in that situation. They could also be used for the SEC tournament at the Hoover Met and any other place that we would have that need. So that's what we're looking for there.
Morning. The next item is the APCO and Telecom digital guide cards. So currently we have, what guide cards are a scripted instructions that we provide. We currently have physical guide cards for medical instructions only. So anybody that calls in, they get consistent medical instructions anytime that they have those emergencies. What this would allow us to do is to make them more they're digital and web-based, so they can be used here as well as downstairs or used at PSC as well as downstairs in the backup center. It will also add to it structured fire department guide cards and structured law enforcement guide cards to make sure that we are providing consistent instructions and questioning across the board for every caller for just about any situation that could arise. Part of us going downstairs to the backup center during the carpet install showed that we had very limited space to bring the physical guide cards with us. So this would also eliminate the need to have that extra physical space downstairs because they could just access it via the internet. And for reference, APCO stands for the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials. It's one of the 3 large 911 entities across the nation. Any questions on that one? All right. Next 2 are kind of hand in hand. It's paint as well as sound panel replacement. So we have the new carpet, which we greatly appreciate. It looks so much better. So that is greatly appreciated. And we appreciate the fire department and police department's patience as we navigated through the issues working at the backup center to get the carpet installed. So the refresh on the paint would just help tie the room together, make it look better overall, which of course would require the sound panels to be replaced as well because those have been in there just as long as we've been in that center. Next item is Mevo to Go, which basically what that is 911 phone system that has Starlink as well as cellular capability. It'd be 4 phone lines that we'd be able to go just about anywhere with. So if we had to go downstairs, if we had to go to the command bus, special events, or worst case scenario, we had to evacuate the city, Hoover would still be able to function its 911 system with its own personnel. And the last portion that I'm going to talk about is the Dell dispatch computers. So I know IT is going to talk on this a little bit as well. They have a cycle where that they refresh the computers on dispatch, so due to the fact that we use them 24/7, and it's a lot more intensive what's required for them. We need to replace them a little bit more frequent than the standard IT schedule. So the ones that are currently at the Public Safety Center would be rotated down to the backup center, and we would get new computers at Public Safety Center at the primary dispatch site. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I do have one question. So if I understand, you're talking about taking workstations from the 911 center, moving those downstairs, but I also heard the request for the laptops. So help me understand the distinction.
Absolutely. So the laptops are strictly for the radio system that has to operate on a completely different system outside of the city's network, which Mr. Cornwell can talk a little bit more on in depth with you. These ones would be primarily the computers that are attached to the city network where we have access to everything that is not phones and radio.
Okay, understood.
Excuse me. Each position for the dispatchers, you have a computer that has the city network, email, those type of applications. They also have another computer for the phone system and then another computer for the radio system. So it's all 3 different systems in one unit, if that makes, not in each position, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all set.
Thank you, Rebecca.
How often is the backup location utilized?
It wasn't until recently that we've been using it more frequently, but prior to that, Linda would be able to give a little more details on the frequency.
Once a month.
We test once a month.
Yeah, test once a month. And right now, we're waiting on our phone upgrade to be complete after the first of the year, and will be a backup for Birmingham as well. So we're going to get on a different rotating schedule and testing schedule.
Besides testing, how often has it been utilized? When you had to completely
Well,
relocate?
we used it a whole lot during COVID-19 because we isolated personnel. You know, we didn't put the personnel together. We kept some separate to kind of keep the staff running because it was so rampant. Y'all remember those days. But during severe weather events where we see from the National Weather Service that there's a good likelihood that Hoover will be impacted by a tornado or severe threat, we'll pre-position dispatchers downstairs and we'll run both centers simultaneously. In case there's a problem, we're already here. Does that makes sense? And then we can move, because we've moved personnel at public safety before in the backside of the jail for safety. You know, we'll abandon that, but they'll keep running operations here. But an actual number of times, I can't give you that answer, but I could look it up for you.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
What is our arrangement in the event of power outages? You know, what do we have in terms of UPS or generator systems?
All right, the center runs, like right now, 24/7 on a huge UPS. It has like 80 batteries in it. That's our day-to-day. As long as it's fed by Building Alabama Power, no problem, transparent to the operators. If that power feed is severed to that UPS, the generator at Public Safety starts feeding. If that feed is lost, then we've still got about 6 hours, Mike?
4 to 6 hours.
4 to 6 hours that we can run on those batteries if the generator's down and we don't have Alabama Power. But we're about to, I know the council, and we appreciate, in addition to the carpet, approved a new UPS because that one is aged. We're going to be, we're in the project management phase of getting that switched out now. So that's what would happen.
Okay, and what about for the backup location?
We have UPS downstairs, and then there's a generator for City Hall, so it'll be the same situation.
Thank you very much.
Question on the to follow up on Ms. Driver's question, the laptops are, if we go to those, obviously battery operated, right? Would any external power be needed with those in order to operate it? Or are they 100% battery operated?
Generally, those units would be used at a location where there would be power. They could operate for a certain time.
So typical laptop,
I'm
that
going to
X
say
number of hours?
hours
Okay.
outside of power, but they would also require an internet connection, so. Sorry? Yeah, there's a portable generator, but generally they would have power, but could potentially operate for a few hours without.
All right, now to follow up on one of the statements you made, you said we're back up for Birmingham, is that what you said?
That's Lynn.
Our 911 phone system, City of Homewood had a court, I'm trying not to get too technical, a switch at Homewood, and Birmingham, they were on the same system in Trotto Viper, and that's what we're on, but we're a standalone. But in the upgrade, we're joining the core and taking Homewood switch and installing it here. So it would give added redundancy in our phone system.
To us
It
or to
would.
them?
Yes, both.
Okay.
Both. We're a part of the same system, but within our own island, so to speak. If we had to go to the backup in that system, we could do so. It would give us more options.
Ms. Linda, why are the fire department and police department radios within your budget rather than their own?
Well, I was about to speak to that. We included that on behalf. It's not that we think that the radios are 10, 11, and 12 in importance. They're very important too. But in terms of from my department perspective, these other items for our personnel are at the top of my list. I hope I make sense, I didn't want it to be misconstrued that I didn't believe that the police and fire's equipment is not up there with us. It's all very critical and important. But that's why we put that kind of at the end before additional operating, because we were asking fire and police on their behalf, they need portable radios, replacements. But I'm thinking that may not be the case, may move that to next year, or I'm not real sure. Have you heard?
For us on radios.
Okay.
Radios would be a lesser.
Okay.
We could push that off a year.
Okay.
That would be a lesser.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think for Cornwell, Mr. Cornwell's always managed all the radios. So anytime we've had radio requests, we've always gone through Cornwell.
Yes.
And Miss Linda. So that's just how we've always done it, because he's handled the radio system.
right. And we would get the radios repaired, but now they've become end of life. So we have to pay to get those radios repaired. We haven't had a big influx of that. Mike, you want to talk about that? You've been able to take care of the needs?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we have made this request for several years. Back in, I believe it was 2023, the manufacturer, which is Motorola, end of life the product. Not only did they do that, they said they weren't going to support them any longer, which means we can't get parts, et cetera, et cetera. So that proposal is to bring these radios up to date. Not only will it do that, but there will be some additional coverage benefits from that, in that the new radios will be able to leverage Wi-Fi and other technologies to extend the coverage of the radio systems in the schools, in the Galleria, and other places where we might have challenges.
So your real request is $2.63 million to be able to make these adjustments
For 911?
for the portable radios?
Oh, for all the radios?
For the radios for the police and fire, and I
Yes, sir.
assume those are also include the apparatus radios,
Those are just portable. There's
portables only?
the radios in the apparatus are not affected by
Our
that.
vehicle radios are actually current production and up to date, so we are good there, just looking at portable radios.
Police and fire
here.
side,
Thank you.
yeah. All right, then additional operating, 20,000 for additional training for dispatch employees. As I stated, the state mandates minimum training standards. We are exceeding those, but there's some things we need to do in terms of training that would require a little bit of additional funding as well. 9,000 additional travel, and then 7,500 additional for dress uniforms. Right now, we receive a uniform allowance, but this would provide for a more formal dress uniform for all employees for public-facing events. So, and then the last item, item 16, is we're under a contractual tower lease increase for 4 Crown Castle tower sites, and we added an additional 8% of $6,000 to pay those leases for the next year. All right, I think that's it, unless you have further questions.
Any other questions? Hearing none? Thank you, ma'am.
All in favor, say.
That would have made that quick, wouldn't it? I guess we have the library next.
You can ask us questions. Carrie's, while she's giving those out, I just want to say good morning and thank you so much for giving me a few minutes to talk about the library's FY 2027 budget. But I want to start a little bit differently than my colleagues have and start with a lot of good news, because there is a lot of it, and I don't get a lot of chance to brag about the library. But this summer has just been absolutely remarkable. We've had an incredibly successful summer reading program that we're just coming off of. If you wondered why you couldn't get in the parking lot, it was because we had so many kids and so many families using the library this summer. I made it a point this year to walk around, and I was just amazed to see all the different people in the space enjoying each other. We've also become, in case you didn't know, something of a viral sensation this summer. We started what's known as a book flip craze, and our Instagram videos are reaching people from across the globe, with people from Scotland, Australia, Germany, and everywhere in the U.S. saying that they want to move to Hoover just to use our library. Last week, we actually did have a visitor from Massachusetts who came because of our videos. And in case you missed it, one of our videos starring librarians Annabeth and Justin was featured nationally on Good Morning America. We've also been working very hard since the spring on our 27-23 through 2020-31 strategic plan, and we are excited to announce that it is almost finished and will be adopted by our board in the next few months. Last month, thanks to our foundation, we installed new private study space pods, which have helped us accomplish a goal from our last strategic plan to give more quiet, small study spaces for people to Zoom and conduct small meetings. It's been really exciting. I just wanted to take a minute to tell you how exciting it's been, but I think it's equally important to note that the success did not, happen overnight. We've been working on a lot of projects. And over the last decade, we've added a lot. We've added a bookmobile, we've added little free libraries throughout the community, we've added a free lunch program, we've added a remote pickup location and story time on the east side of Hoover when we did not get a branch to bridge that gap for library services in that part of town. We've expanded our visits to senior living facilities and memory care units. We've added passport services, and we've added a K-9 employee. And the list goes on and on and on and on. And we've done all of that without any increase in staffing and with very modest increases in our operating budget. And I'm really proud of that. I think it says that our staff is able to think creatively and carefully, and we've managed the city's resources very well. But it's also the reason that I'm coming to you this year with a more aggressive budget than I have made in recent years. Over the past few days, I've compared some key budget line items and our salary schedule to some of our neighboring libraries, and honestly, it was a little eye-opening to me. There was a time I felt like we were ahead of the curve or that we were far and away better funded, and I just don't feel that way anymore. We've continued to grow, our community's expectations have continued to grow, and the cost of doing business has also grown. And I think that we've reached a point that if we want to continue to do the job that we're doing today, and especially if we want to continue to keep growing, we have to invest a little bit more in the library. And that is why I am asking for $158,500 in additional operating funding, along with some capital and personnel investments. I recognize that is a significant increase, and I also recognize that the city has a lot of competing needs. I'm not standing here expecting that everything on this list will be funded, but I do want to explain why I think these requests are important. I'm just going to go through, not an exhaustive list of all of the things that we've asked for, but some of the overreaching reasons that we've asked for several different things. The first is technology. As many people have talked about, technology is virtually part of everything that we do, and the costs are going up. Our computer lease is set to expire, and we have to either sign a new one or do a purchase plan to replace 130 new public and staff computers. Either way, it's going to go up about $36,000 annually. Additionally, our software costs continue to increase. Microsoft, VMware, Communico, which is our app, and other systems that we rely on every day are just escalating. We also need to replace our primary production server. These aren't nice to have requests, they are the requests that allow us to function every day. Second is our building, and I think this is probably the area where I feel most strongly that we need to start investing. Our building has served us well. We have a wonderful library, but it is older, and it's been pieced together through the years, and there are things we need to address. The most immediate is the restrooms. Some of the restrooms in the older portion, the lobby and the theater level, are not accessible for patrons using wheelchairs. You did give us $110,000 last year to begin that project, but after working with the architect, we realized it's going to be a total of $300,000, so we're asking for the extra money to finish that job. Furthermore, in listening to our patrons through the process of writing this strategic plan, we've identified that our building, while nice, is not intuitive to use, and it is not meeting the space needs of the community. The 21st century library user may check their books out online, but they are coming to the library to hang out and meet others and have group study, and we want to transition that space to accommodate the spaces that people want to use. I think our traffic shows that people are still coming to the library, they're just using it a lot differently. To add to that, we've known for years that we need to transition from a single facility library to a multi-branch system. We have a population of 95,000. We're spread out over how many square miles now? Is it 50? And to figure out what we really need to do, we need to employ an architect to help us develop a master strategy. An architect can help us determine whether we can renovate our building and make it work, or whether we need to perhaps consider a new location with branches. Third is simply keeping up with the cost of operating the building. Our supply costs have gone up significantly. By month 9 of this fiscal year, we had essentially spent most of our supply budget, which covers everything from toilet paper to trick-or-treat candy to storytime supplies to theater lighting equipment. We've had to move money around to cover basic operational expenses, including things like copier paper and janitorial supplies. And that has sometimes meant taking away money from other areas. One way the library has, over the years, tried to cut back and stay with level funding is to invest less in the things the public doesn't notice, like travel and training. But most recently, when I was comparing those line items with our neighboring libraries, I realized that they had double our travel and training budget, and we have 3 times the employees. The fourth item we need to consider is the arts. And I know that that is of interest to a lot of you who campaigned about the arts. But right now, the library theater is the city's primary performance venue. And a lot of community events and productions take place there. And it's getting busier, and more people are requesting that we do things in the library theater. We need some additional equipment following the most recent renovation, like a new follow spot system and a hearing loop system. We're also asking for an increase in our contribution from the city to the arts for the Southern Voices Conference and the theater production programs. And I've also asked for some personnel for this department, 1 full-time person and 1 part-time person. The theater is a specialized operation. It is increasingly busy, and we need more people who can help manage productions, assist with bookings and production responsibilities, step in when the manager isn't there, and ultimately create a succession plan. Fifth, we're asking for an investment in what we've called library creative space. As part of our strategic planning and our space planning, we've been looking at how we can make better use of the building, like I said earlier. One of the ideas is to combine our technology hub and public service functions in a way that allows us to provide better technology assistance with freeing up space for something new and innovative, a creative space where people can learn, make things, collaborate, and experiment with emerging technology. I think that's the kind of thing that we need to be doing to be a modern public library. The last thing that I want to talk about is personnel. This is probably the hardest part of the request for me, because for years I've been very committed to not asking for more people. We've changed a lot of positions, we've restructured our positions, we've moved responsibilities around, we've tried to solve problems with the people and the personnel budget that we have. And for a long time we've been able to do that, and I've admittedly, and I think my staff would say, pushed a little too hard. I feel it's important also to note when I talk about personnel that the assistant director position was eliminated as part of the city's budget reductions in 2018, and we ultimately reestablished that position through an internal restructuring in 2023. But we had to give up other positions to make that work. I think we are now at a point where we need to start thinking about what the library needs to look like 5 and 10 years from now, and not just how we can continue to squeeze more out of the people we have today. And that's why I have included personnel requests this year for the first time in a while, which is 3 full-time positions and 1 part-time position. Having said that, we take all part-time positions. Whatever you're willing to think about, we would be very happy to get. And there's one other personnel issue that I think deserves your attention, and it's not in my purview, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, and that is salaries. Because I do keep up what's happening from library to library, and I know what's occurring. Our starting library assistant salary is now today, that's the entry-level position, is now $3 an hour below comparable libraries. And that, I think, is significant. We've not kept pace with the cost of living since adopting our newest pay scale. It's not just entry-level jobs either, which I thought it was, because last week, Irondale posted an assistant director position, and its salary was $6,000 higher than our starting assistant director position in Hoover. Again, I know I'm not the person in charge of this, but I do want to use my voice to say that we need to look at this. Whether it's a new salary study, a substantial COLA, which I know is probably impossible, or the elimination, for the library, I think, the elimination of the first 3 to 4 steps on the current pay scale would help a lot. We can't continue to be the employer of choice without recognizing this issue. So that's where I am this year. Great things are happening at the library. We've got a remarkable library, and we've done it with a very little additional staffing and very little additional spending. But I don't want our success to become the reason that we stop investing. So I hope you'll consider everything on my list, but honestly, at the end of the day, any increase is appreciated.
Mr. Smith, I have a question. Concern with the McCrary grant.
Oh, yes.
The McCrary grant covers items that are end of life. Is your server end of life?
Yeah. Yeah, you want to, anything that's technology, probably Carrie would know better, but I believe that we are hoping that we will get that.
You're pointing at people. Who are we?
Carrie, sorry. Come on up here. The McCrary grant, we hope, is going to be able to cover that server. Do we know that yet?
So the McCrary grant has come back on a substantial amount of equipment for IT. I think it's like almost $600,000.
Correct.
And that it's going to cover. They have not come back yet and answered the question on this particular server yet, but they are looking at it.
I mean, I'm looking at the criteria, and if it's just to replace it, if it's still a current operating system, then it's not covered. If it's end of life, then it might be covered. So do we know what operating system are you running on that server?
I'm not sure of the exact operating system. It's a VMware, but I know that the hardware itself is obsolete. So, I mean, even if we were to
So we're running obsolete equipment in the library, is that correct?
Yes.
And so why is it that the library has a different IT system than the city's IT system? Why are they separate?
We are on a separate network, a separate wide area network than the city. We are a part of the Jefferson County Library Cooperatives Network, and that's part of our agreement as a county library to be part of that network. And we cannot be connected directly to the city's network because of privacy issues and, security issues for the rest of the Jefferson County Library Cooperatives.
So do they pitch in for the cost of the network?
We contribute to the whole cost as a member library through membership fees.
But does Jefferson County provide funding? So in order for us to be members of this club, we pay a membership fee, and we have to keep our hardware up to...
Yes. We're an autonomous library because of the number of staff that we have. There are some libraries in the cooperative that are non-autonomous, and they use JCLC as their network administrators. They provide the equipment for those smaller libraries, but because we're such a large library, I think the other autonomous libraries are Homewood, Mountain Brook, and Vestavia. because we have so much staff and we're such a large system or library, we're autonomous. So we're responsible for our own network equipment. But they do provide us our internet service, they provide us our catalog, they provide us courier services and databases.
And going back to the security aspect of it, you said you can't be part of the city's network because of privacy concerns.
Privacy
But-
and security.
But there are, with end-of-life equipment, cybersecurity equipment, you're compromising that security. Who oversees your IT equipment?
At our IT department, and we have a technology manager named Mike Benson, and he has a staff of 2 full-time library technicians that help him with that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want to say it's obsolete. It's not, years obsolete. It's like a year or so obsolete. It's just,
Well, one day obsolete makes you vulnerable to cybersecurity threats.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether it's a day or a year or 10 years, once it's end of life, it becomes vulnerable.
Yeah.
So the staff is aware of that.
yes. And the JCLC makes us also go through cyber training and make sure that our network is secure through firewalls and other security protocols. So, we are good with that.
And have you asked for this in the past? Has technology been asked for in the past? And has it been declined in the past?
No.
Have they, has previous budget requests been fulfilled when it comes to technology?
From the city, request to the city?
Yes.
Yes, all of our requests have been fulfilled
Okay.
in the past.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair, Ms. Borden, you mentioned a strategic look at the library of the future, the hub and branch model, and hiring an architect to help us look at what that might look like down the road. I don't see that in your request. Is that part of your request?
In the 5-year capital, we did, the capital plan, the 5-year capital plan, we did, it wasn't on the sheet, but it was in the capital requests.
So I think is what you're saying is it's not on the handout, but it is in your actual submittal.
It's in the packets for the specific capital request. I think it's titled the new Hoover Public Library or something like that. It's not on, I don't think we put it on one of the sheets. I think we did it in the strategic plan.
Do each
But it
department
was about
have,
$100,000 for an architect.
do each department have a different supplemental versus what we've been getting today?
I can't speak to that one.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Do the various departments, they have different supplementals that
Going through my packet.
are coming to finance and the mayor's office than what we are seeing today?
I hope not, because I requested that they didn't submit anything that they hadn't already to us. But I will say, I was looking up her capital request, and she does have $100,000 for the architectural and $100,000 for ADA compliance, and $190,000 for bathroom renovation. in those.
So it just wasn't on the summary sheet, but it
Yes.
is submitted to finance for the budget. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, in the
We're
5-year.
not gonna know whether to try to fight for it if it's something that we care for, if we don't have it in front of us.
When we present the budget to you, we, of course, will allow you to see all requests,
Okay,
as always, so.
okay. Very good.
Yeah, I probably should have put that on my,
Ms. Borden,
List.
do you have all your annual books and memberships and everything like that are included with your annual salary, right? The new titles that you expect to get and your videos and do you offer streaming now?
we do not have yes, we do have a streaming product called Hoopla where you can get videos, and we have one called Canopy where you can get videos. We don't have a great replacement for traditional videos. We have a great replacement for audiobooks. We have great resources for ebooks. But we have some movies that you can stream.
Right, but you have funding.
We do have funding for that.
requested
In our
here.
request, we do ask every year for a small increase in materials budget to help keep up with those escalating costs. And I think it amounts to, let me look at the sheet, $28,000 extra in materials for
I
2027.
believe Mr. Murphy has a question.
I do. Well, I'm gonna try to, my time. I'll make some statements then. I would love to know, like, long-term, I know we talked about strategic plan from a building envelope standpoint, we're talking about architectural, but thoughts of strategic planning from a programming standpoint for the future?
Oh, sure.
That, I know we can't talk about all that right now.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, dictating how much money we will really need to spend based upon the programming piece, because when I look at the fire department and how they transition from fighting physical fires, now they're medical. So that programming piece for them changed over the years, where they still have the ability to do that because they train a lot for that when it comes, but they're medically are driven that way. And I don't know what this future programming piece of what also but
Right.
same thing with you guys, AI, I see a lot of, and I love library, by the way, I do
Yeah.
come there.
So in this plan, one of the pieces and one of our core values is definitely keeping up with the changing landscape of a library.
So do you have just like the architectural group, do you have a company?
We've
I
talked to
guess?
2.
Okay, so for me, outside the architectural piece, in my opinion, that would be more important to determine what the build out will really need to be versus the architectural
Right.
rendering.
Right. When we look at programming, and we've always been a high programming library. We've always kind of been the library that is more than a library. We've always been this community center, this space where we have lots of fun children's activities, lots of lifelong learning activities, and a lot of arts events. So we've always had that be a real important part of our library, but we really need to have more spaces to do
Yeah.
some of these things. And so to do more programming, we need more spaces. And the public is also looking for more spaces too.
And the last thing I'll say is, does the budget represent a firm to be able to look at the programming piece?
It does.
So that's what that, because I've seen how other libraries are going to teaching AI, maker spaces.
Right, the creative space was one of
entrepreneurship,
those
things of
things,
that
yeah.
nature is essential versus waiting on a commerce or a private entity to be part of that. The library is concentrating versus books versus the programming.
Right.
But it is in this particular budget.
Right, yeah.
Where's that? I might have missed that.
we did ask for some extra programming money, but we do have money in the budget for programming and.
No, I apologize, but I'm more so talking about the program, a firm to evaluate, just like the architectural group, like programming itself. Is that in the budget?
No, that is not in the budget. Yeah.
So again, I guess my idea is that in order for, we can paint walls and move a wall, but if it does not translate into, this is the program we're moving forward in the future, we've spent money on capital investments, and we might have modified it based upon our long-term planning for programming. So I just would, there's not much space
Yeah.
at all, but I do know program as a whole dictates what you spend too.
Right.
So, I think we need to
Yeah. and-
consider, this is my 2 cents.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're having the same definition of programming. Like when I think about programming, I think about all of the things that people come and go to. Is that?
Yeah, but that would dictate if we move into a model that we need a space to teach about AI or coding or gaming. I
Right.
don't know.
Okay,
If
yes.
that's the case, then that changes how that layout, architects come second,
Yeah.
but
So-
programming come first.
So what we're hoping to do with an architectural is have a master planning where we bring together what we are wanting to do. And I can tell you in our strategic plan that programming is a very big part of what we want to do. It's always been part of what we want to do.
Will they
and-
have a specialist to be a part of that process, though?
I would think that our programming librarians would. I don't know who to bring in from the outside for that, but I'd love your ideas if you can think of someone.
The only reason I say that, because I can have a ton of engineers here, a ton of architects here in the state of Alabama. It's just like Chief mentioned the other day, having another group to look at. Some people look at all the 50 states because they're consultants. They're able to see more of our, more than our reach. It has nothing to do with what we can do. It's just they're outside the state a lot more than will ever be outside the state. So if the architectural group does have somebody that understands the programming piece, it'll be helpful. It'll be another help. Nothing talking about the staff. I'm just saying
Yeah.
they see a lot more.
Yeah. I also think that travel and training piece would go into that too, because we do attend conventions
Okay.
nationally to see what other libraries are doing, to keep up with what's going on in the world, and that's where we kind of get a lot of our knowledge. And so the programming piece professionally often does come from our staff. And we want to have an architect that understands the types of things that the 21st century librarian is doing.
Amanda, did y'all not also just recently complete a strategic plan update? Or you may
That's,
be in
yeah, in
process?
spring you came to that, and that's what I was referring to. Yes, it'll be published probably in the next month. Our board needs, we're putting our finishing touches on it, putting some dates to it, and then our board will adopt it probably at their September meeting. It was about a 6-month process.
Very good. While others still participate in this conversation, we're about 20, 25 minutes behind. So those of us who need to take a quick break, I think we should. And let's don't take the full 10 minutes. Let's just get back as soon as we can.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
And then city clerk will be next.